Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Thank you all for watching my previous videos on NotebookLM. This has really been a passionate project of mine, and I thank the good Lord for bringing me this far in all my research. After about 3 months of research on study tools and study methods, NotebookLM has been one that has stuck with me, and I thank you all for watching the videos. If you have any questions, do well to put them in the comment section and I'll make sure to respond to all of them. In this video, what I want to do is to show you how you can input the sources into the notebooks and create your own integrated notebook. In the first video, I showed you how we can create notebooks from scratch. In the second video, I basically did a showcase of the surgery final year integrated, medicine final year integrated, OSCE integrated, Pascals and all of that, explaining almost everything that you can use NotebookLM for. In this video, I'm going to go step by step into how you can install everything and build everything for yourself. Because the ideology is that you have now installed NotebookLM, you basically know where each button is. From the second video, you now know, wow, there is this thing called integrated notebooks and how far we can take it. I haven't even talked about reverse drills, case study questions, and all of that, which will come in subsequent videos. But by now, you know that, man, this thing is actually very useful, and you can actually see yourself having this be, very useful for you. And so now in this video, the ideology is to be able to make sure that you are able to build this by yourself. Okay, let's jump right into it. Now, from the first two videos, I talked about how building an integrated notebook means that you need to have more than 50 sources, so more than the free tier. And so now you need to pay. Here is how the pricing goes. So with a paid model, all right, with a paid model, we are going to go with NotebookLM Plus. Now, there is this thing called Google One subscription, right? So with the Google One subscription, let me open my here. When you press on this button, right, and you scroll down, you see Google One. Let me see if it is here. It's here. So when you press on the Google One, it's actually a subscription that brings almost all of Google's, sorry, it brings almost all of Google's services together into one subscription. The most useful are having Gemini, NotebookLM, and then Google Drive, that's Google Cloud Storage, all in one subscription. You know how individually these apps can cost. Right now, an AI like Gemini or ChatGPT will probably cost you $5 to $6 on just the base plan, and then $20 on the advanced plans. If you are buying cloud storage, it can range from $1 through to $3, all the way to $10 and above. And then if you are paying for NotebookLM individually, it will cost more. So with the Google One subscription gives you access to all of these tools: Gemini, NotebookLM, and Google Cloud Storage. You're able to use Gemini, a more advanced version of Gemini, not the latest or not the top notch, but a more advanced version of Gemini. You're able to use a more advanced version of NotebookLM, and then you're able to have 200 gigabytes of Google One Cloud Storage. And so this is what I've been using. The Google One subscription, as you can see, this is when I became a member since about 2 weeks ago. The Google One subscription in Ghana is only 35 cedis. Now, let me explain it. 35 cedis is the amount that you need to pay for the Google One subscription, which is about $3. A very, less expensive or cheap subscription, considering what you are getting. NotebookLM, Gemini, and 200 gigs of cloud storage. Man, 200 gigs of cloud storage on its own in OneDrive is around $3. So now one subscription is covering the cost of all of them. But here is the catch. The 35 cedis is only for your first 1 month, or the $3 is only for your it's only for your first 6 months. So what is happening is that for the first 6 months that you are with the subscription, right, the Google One subscription, you are going to be paying 35 cedis every single month to be able to access all of these things. You understand? So 35 cedis for your first month, second month, third month, like that. And then after 6 months, the price goes back to its original price, which is 70 cedis. So it's like a promotion, half the price for your first 6 months. Now, to me, paying for this thing and looking at all the features that you are getting, I mean, it's a no-brainer, right? You are getting Gemini, NotebookLM, and cloud storage is a no-brainer. But let me show you a way by which you can even pay even less amount of money and have all of this. So here is the mindset. If you are paying 35 cedis for each month for 6 months, right? And you are effectively using only NotebookLM because maybe you have another cloud storage solution, or maybe you have ChatGPT, right? And you just need NotebookLM so that you can actually create the integrated notebooks and have more than 50 sources. What you can do is that you can pay for the first month and then cut your subscription or cancel your subscription and not pay again for the rest of the month, provided you won't come back to these, the benefits. But I'm sure when you start using some of these things, you realize the benefits. When you can connect your Google Photos and your Google Drive and your Google Calendar, all of them together. But then, so you are going to pay for your first month, install everything, that's build the integrated notebooks, all right? And then after your first month, you can't have more than 50 sources, but you've already built those notebooks. And so at that point in time, you don't really need another subscription again. You understand? So again, how can we even get this to even less? You understand? 35 cedis is good and all, but how can we pay even less? You understand? So now there's this way. With Google, any subscription that you have can actually be shared among 6 family members. So you included. That means you and 5 other family members. So let me show you what it means. So when you click on your Google account like this, it says change profile picture. No, that's not what we want to do. When you click on your Google account like this, all right, and you go to where your subscriptions are, to your family group, sorry. When you click on your family group, you can see that these are the members in my family group, right? I have 3 more invitations. So when I click on this, I can invite any other person. Once I have their, Gmail, I can invite them to my family. And so we can divide the cost. You understand? So if it is 35 cedis and the maximum number of people is 6, we can effectively each of us pay around 5 cedis to 6 cedis, and then we can enjoy NotebookLM's features. And so you can enjoy these integrated notebooks, more than 3 audios and videos every day, have 20 flashcards, have more than 200 chats a day, and have all of these features for effectively as low as just 6 cedis or 5 cedis. That's even lesser than $1. And so that's how it is. 35 cedis for the first month. You get 5 other friends. You divide the cost. You are using the advanced tier of NotebookLM for just 5 cedis. That's a really good way of being able to save big time money and then boost your studies. Now let's see how you can actually input the sources. Once you've gone down this path, and for just 5 cedis, you can honestly change your studies. Now let's input the sources. So now I'm going to go back into my vanilla NotebookLM. I'm going to start all over again by editing this title and say I want to create the medicine integrated notebook that Don AKD showed us. So I'm going to click my own medicine integrated notebook, right? So I'm going to create my medicine integrated notebook like this. Let me delete these other ones. So now when I click on this medicine integrated notebook, this is how the notebook is. We've already gone over all these features. So we are going to press on add sources. We can upload sources if our slides are on our, on our device, right? But then we can go to Google Drive. So I have Google Drive links whereby all the slides and everything are in, right? If you click on those Google Drive links, they send you to your Google Drive. So let me say I want to use my Google Drive. So now when I click on my Google Drive, I'm going to go to, okay, this isn't my Google Drive, this is a different account. So effectively, let me just use this one, yes, so that I can jump to my Google Drive. So let me just start all over again using my account. So let me just name this one to medicine test integrated so that we can see some difference. So you want to build yours just like mine. You click on Google Drive and then you come into your Google Drive, right? So now when you come into your Google Drive, you click on my drive, you go and look for where the sources are. So for me, it's medicine. So I click on MB1, which is the 4th year. I click on medicine, right? So now all the slides with respect to medicine are here in theory. You see, some of the slides have appeared, some of them haven't. So what is going to happen is that you would want to convert the slides into a format that we call Google Slides. I told you in the previous video to take note of this. You can input PDFs, which is very simple, right? But then whenever you have a PowerPoint, it's not going to appear here. You see here, the PowerPoints which are actually supposed to be in this folder aren't actually appearing. And the reason they aren't actually appearing is because most of them are in Microsoft PowerPoint, but they aren't in Google Slides. So how can we view these ones when they aren't in Google Slides? You would have to convert them. So the best way to convert them is actually to try and open them here and then convert them to Google Slides. So let me show you what I mean. This was my medicine by which I did all my conversions. So now you can see that here, this folder is different from my MB1 folder. How so? Here, I'm not able to see all the slides. Only 2 of them are in Google Slides. But here, all the medicine slides are here. And almost all of them are in Google Slides, which is represented by this icon. And so how was I able to do it? Whenever you open a link and then you come and you see a PowerPoint, right? And you open it in Google Drive, you click on it and then you convert it right there. So what I mean is that, let me see if I can find a PowerPoint. Let me see. So seems like I'm not able to find a PowerPoint now, but then let me open this one and see. All of them have been converted. So realistically, all I can do is just to send this actual, converted one for anybody who would need it. But then even if you don't have it and you have the slides local on your device, you just press on it. So assuming this was so now it is inputting, right? So this is how you should do it. You see, it opened my NotebookLM. I opened it in NotebookLM and it opened my Google Drive, right? And we saw that inside the Google Drive, where is it? We saw that inside the Google Drive, when we wanted to upload our sources, it was only giving us sources that had been converted to Google Slides. So when we came to see the MB1 folder and we clicked on medicine, we were only seeing those that have been converted to Google Slides and those that are PDFs, which aren't a lot. And then when you open this folder, this is how the conversion is going to be like. So I have already converted them, and then you can just press on them and input them. So as you can see, the acute abdomen one has already inputted. Now, this is Google Drive inside NotebookLM. So To do that, you would have to configure your own Google Drive. And that's why I said that when you click on that link, it will take you there. I didn't use a link, so that's why it's some way different. So I have to open it manually. So how do I do that? I just click on a new tab and then I open Google Drive manually from here. You understand? So when I open Google Drive manually from here, I'm going to show you everything. When I click on MB1, I'm going to click on medicine. And then lo and behold, all those slides that we couldn't see in our notebook LM some way somehow are here. It's not by magic. It's because when we opened it in notebook LM, notebook LM was taking it from Google Drive, assuming that we had converted and done everything. So it is opening directly into our Google Drive. So when I open MB1 folder and I open medicine, I don't see a ton of slides inside. When I open surgery, the same thing. But if I go back and I configure it, when you have the link, right, you can do it easily. You will see all of them here. So now you would want to move from a state of having PowerPoint slides like this, represented by the P icon, to coming into this state whereby you have all of them effectively like this as Google Slides. You understand? The reason why you want them to have as Google Slides is that Google works with Google. And so Google is not really going to work well when you are using Microsoft PowerPoint. So Google has their own slides, right? It's just like Excel. Google is not going to work well when you are inputting an Excel document compared to when you are inputting Google Sheets. So because of that, they would want to always work with their own, tools. And so that's why you have to convert it into Google Slides so that you can read the slides. So right now that this slide has been inputted, when I click on it, I can actually read the slides right here in NotebookLM. So just a little bit and then it will load. You see how it has loaded very nicely, is because it's in Google Slides format. So in your Google Chrome, in your Google Drive, whenever you see any PowerPoint, you press on it. When you press on it to open it, it's going to open in Google Slides, but you are not done yet. You wait for it to load a little bit. You see here this extension .pptx, right? This extension is a Microsoft PowerPoint format. You click on File and Save as Google Slides. Then you can delete this one. When you save it as Google Slides, now it doesn't have the point pptx. This is effectively saved as Google Slides. And look at how it is. This icon sees that it is actually saved in your, it's actually saved in your Google Drive. So effectively, when I open NotebookLM like this and I click on it and I click on Google Drive and I click on Recent, it is here. The slide that I just converted to Google Slides is right here. And when I press on it, I can press on Insert. So this is how you can convert normal PowerPoint slides, which are in any of these ones. Let's do it again. P means that it's a PowerPoint slide. It is not going to work natively in NotebookLM. I need to click on it. I need to see that it is .powerpoint. Click on File and save it as Google Slides. Now, when it is saved as Google Slides, it appears saved to my drive. And now, when I open my Google Drive in NotebookLM, and when I click on it, it's right here. So effectively, you do this for all of them which aren't PowerPoint. And then when you do it, you are going to reach a situation like this, whereby for me, I had medicine, and then almost everything here has been converted to PowerPoint. You understand? So almost everything here has been converted to the Google Slides. You understand? So when I come to the normal MB1, it's not available unless I click on this medicine. And you see that almost all the slides have been converted to Google Slides. So now, ideally, I can even just send this one to anybody So I can share like the link for this particular one. You understand? So if I open my Google Drive, I can share the link for this um particular this one, right, this particular folder. And then once you want to share something, you just press on it and you click on share, and then you share the link with other people, so that you can already, you don't have to go through the hassle of having to convert everything into Google Slides, right? You can just have everything automatically converted for you. And if there is even anyone that hasn't been converted, you can just press on them and convert them yourself. Now, either way, if it's a PowerPoint slide, this is how you do it. If it's a Word document, the same way you convert it into Google Docs. When it comes to YouTube videos, they are not difficult. You just search for a YouTube video online. As I said, you input the link. When it comes to textbooks, say you have Badger or any textbook like that, I'm not currently able to input the textbook here because I don't have it. But what is going to happen is that you would take the textbook from, say, your folder on your laptop. You open Google Chrome, all right, just any normal Google Chrome page, and then you drag the textbook into Google Chrome. I don't have the textbook now, so I can't demonstrate it. But let's say the textbook is on my desktop, right? Let's say this is the textbook. I'll drag it into Google Chrome, and then when I drag it into Google Chrome, because it's a PDF, Google Chrome can read the PDF. Then you press on a print button, and then when you press on the print button, you can configure it such that you want it to print as a PDF and set number of pages. Because let's say Badger is a big textbook, like it's like around 1,500 pages and it's 400 megabytes. So you can let Google Chrome save Badger as a PDF starting from page 0 to page 500. Then you do another one, page 501 to page 1000. Then you do another one for the last one. So that at that point in time, you will have 3 different Badger, PDFs. And then you can have Badger 1, Badger 2, Badger 3. Same applies for clinical surgery tutorial and any textbook that is big. Once it's a PDF, you drag it into Google Chrome, you use the print feature, and then you can configure the number of pages. So effectively, when you do this within, if you are brisk about it, within 15 to 20 minutes, at most 30 minutes, you should be able to finish inputting everything, provided you have very good internet access. So you should be able to finish inputting all the sources. Then you can rename them if you want to. And then these are just prompts, the actual prompts that I use for putting everywhere. I just have a PDF version of the prompt. At first, I didn't know of Google's configuration. So I had a PDF version of the prompt whereby I'll actually have to like click on this PDF and have to go and do copy and paste. Whereby I do it like this and I copy everything and I do copy and paste. But right now, because Google updated it to have more characters in the configuration, we don't need to do copy and paste. So that's how you can input all the sources. And when you do it well, you would have 88 sources, 90 sources, 95 sources, based on how many sources that you want. And then you can build your own Surgery Finder integrated workspace. You understand? So when you come and then you click on Medicine Finder here integrated, everything in medicine is here. If you want to read your arrhythmia slides, you can just press on them and then read your arrhythmia slides from here. If you want to have the output, you just see teach me arrhythmias, and then you press on it, and then it is effectively going to teach you arrhythmias per the configuration. Just going to make sure that the configuration is right, and within a few seconds it's going to go to all your outputs and teach you arrhythmias. If you want to set flashcards quizzes to test your understanding on what you've read, you can easily do that. Just have to follow all the things that we've talked about in the previous videos. So effectively, this is how you can create your own. You can rename it, you can add an icon, and then you can make it your own. You can share it with others, but as I said in the very first video, sharing is more or less collaboration. So you can't like share it with another person and that person can duplicate it. No, you share it with another person and then you guys are working in the same workspace, and so it will affect anything that other person does affect yours. And so that's why I can't share my notebook with you, but I've shown you the exact way by which you can get this. And so let me just end by talking about the testing sandwich. The testing sandwich was what I talked about, in depth in my Study Smarter Not Harder series. But just to recap it, it's like a sandwich, right? And the concept was, I learned it from Tom Watchman on YouTube. He's a British doctor, a very brilliant one at that. So when you look at a sandwich, you have the top, the middle, which is where the actual meat or the actual food is, and then you have the buns on the bottom. And so a testing sandwich, whenever you are about to study, in let's say 2 hours, 3 hours, any time frame that you give to yourself, all right, I usually just use the clock app to set focus modes for myself. You start out with the first top part of the sandwich, which is priming yourself before you study. Even before all of this, you would have had a tracker, in Excel or in the one that I use, Craft, my master topics tracker, to track your studies, to know what topics you are supposed to learn each day and all of that. So you can watch Tom Watchman's video on it. I have it in my learning playlist on my channel. You can watch it. But then effectively, or what it basically means is that you are tracking your studies. And so each day has, a topic that you are doing per your own space repetition algorithm and all of that. And let's say today is arrhythmias. So before I study arrhythmias, I first of all have to prime myself on arrhythmias. So how do I prime myself on arrhythmias? By solving some questions. Now, let's say arrhythmias are a new topic for me. So I don't want to spend a lot of time just solving questions when I haven't learned anything. The best questions I have seen is to just use past questions. Now, a lot of people are there, they will solve past questions after they are done studying. But that isn't the best. The best thing is actually not just to solve past questions after you are done studying, but to actually start solving past questions before you study. So I want to solve past questions on arrhythmias. I open just one of my past schools. So let's say medicine second team, right? I usually just open the first team so that I remember the one that I chose. So when I open medicine first team, I'm going to copy the prompt, which is the prompt that I use for the tuberculosis one. And then I'm going to copy the prompt like this. So now, honestly, I can even configure the notebook right here. So we are going to see live how I'm going to configure this notebook. So I paste in the prompt, and then I'm going to tell it that it should extract all the questions relating to tuberculosis. So then we are going to change this to all the questions related to a particular topic that I will assign. So now this is how the prompt is, a custom prompt right here in the configuration. And then I'm going to save it. So now I don't have to copy the prompt again. So now I'm going to say extract questions on arrhythmias. So now we are going to extract arrhythmia questions. So now we just extract arrhythmia questions. It's going to start everything. So I press on enter. And because it's in the configuration, it's going to give me basically the same thing that I was having when I was doing the copy and paste. Why? Because it's in the configuration that from the uploaded past exam questions, it should extract all the thing. It should make sure to quote, indicate the year and all of that. And so now, if I press on this button and jump down, it's going to start to extract the arithmetic questions per my sources. And so here it is. So these are the extracted arithmetic questions. Now, I feel like the only, okay, it's basically the same. So recurring themes and commonly tested areas, aspects repeatedly emphasized, aspects that are not really emphasized. And then these are all the arithmetic questions. And then this is the source of the question. And so now, what you want to do is that you want to use past questions because past questions are not just testing yourself like the exams will do, but they allow you to be able to like see how the questions are set per your topic and also see the trends. Which questions have been coming a lot? Which type of questions are not really that repeating? And so whenever you are studying, it primes you because it allows you to see some of the important things in the topic without you reading it. It also allows you to see gaps, all right, gaps in your knowledge because you're able to test yourself before you actually start learning. And then most importantly, it allows you to see the trends. So some things are there in the topic you probably might not learn because it hasn't been talked about a lot from the recent past questions. So because you are just starting out, you don't want to spend all your time on past questions. And I'm using, say, a 2-hour learning block on arithmetic. So within 10 to 15 minutes, you should be able to finish going through these past questions. You don't even need to go through all of them in all the 3 teams. You just need to do them in one team and try as much as possible to just read these past questions. Try and see if you can answer them on your own. You probably won't. And then you are seeing how the questions are being set over the years. As I said, you can hover and see exactly where this question is coming from. Now, um, that's it. When you are done going over the past questions, the meat of the testing sandwich or the second part is the actual studying. So you come into your medicine final year integrated. I think I've already inputted arithmetic here, right? Teach me arithmetic is already here. Now you come and study with a method we call read and recall. Read and recall is basically like you read the summary, whatever you've read, you try and recall it. Because as I said, you are not just absorbing information. The best way to make memory is to retrieve the information. So when I read the definition of arrhythmia, or when I read these differentials, I try and recall. When I read these clinical features, I try and recall. I try and relate it with something I've already learned before. I try and see how best can I study this. I'm not just mindlessly taking notes or mindlessly rereading or mindlessly highlighting. I'm actively trying to recall the information. So I read, I try and recall. I read, I try and recall. I read, I try and recall. That's how you do read and recall. More information is in Tom Watchman's videos, so please do well to watch them. But essentially, you use read and recall as your, the bedrock or the bulk of the whole study, which should last about 1 hour to 1 hour 30 minutes. And the last 30 minutes is to test yourself on what you studied. Now, in the first go around, you won't probably be able to get 100%, right? So you probably won't be able to move through the whole arrhythmia topic 100%. But because you are using a focus timer, wherever you've reached, you just note there in your tracker that I was able to reach signs and symptoms of arrhythmias on today, 8th March 2026. So that the next time that you are coming to revise arrhythmias, which per the spaced repetition algorithm will be 1 day later, 2 days later, 4 days later, like that, or 1 day later, 3 days later, 7 days later, like that. You are spacing out your revisions. You know exactly where you reached with respect to that topic. And if there was anything that was bothering you, you can still write it down. So I even utilize the learning notes. I utilize the learning notes for this same exact thing. So I can write things down. I can say didn't really understand HR flatter. Just keeping these notes here helps, because when you go and come at another time, you can easily see what you understood, what you didn't understand, where you've reached and all. I do all of this in my craft tracker, but you can effectively do them here in NotebookLM. Sorry. So now the last part of the testing sandwich is to test yourself by the quiz and by the flashcards, because all that you've read, all that you've understood, you want to see, can I answer questions? Because the best way to know that this thing that I've read is actually ingrained in my memory is to be able to solve questions on it. So you generate the flashcards, you generate the quizzes, you solve questions. And in subsequent videos, I'll even show you even more advanced prompts, such that, let me show you one right now. So I'm going to say generate 7 practice MCQs on arrhythmias. Just 7 practice MCQs on arrhythmias. I've not told it any other thing again, but it knows what to do because it's part of my configuration. So down here in my configuration, there's a part for MCQ mode, whereby it's going to give me Ghanaian case study style questions. It's going to mix the difficulty, it's going to focus on next best step, provide explanations and all of that. And so all I need to do is just to type 7 practice MCQs on arrhythmias, and it's going to start. As your tutor preparing you for your final MBCAD exams in Ghana, I have developed these practice MCQs to test your clinical reasoning regarding arrhythmias. These questions follow the examiner mode rules, which is inside the configuration, prioritizing life-threatening presentations and stepwise management. So as you can see, NotebookLM is so fantastic that it has even taken it right there from the configuration. So you see what I mean? NotebookLM is so fantastic. So now you can see that exactly the prompt that we gave, that's what is here. Question 1, question 2, question 3, question 4, question 5, question 6, question 7. And so this is how you can even test yourself even more. You can ask NotebookLM, give me a short case on arrhythmias. You can ask NotebookLM, give me a word round summary on arrhythmias. Let me show you the short case on arrhythmias. And I'll tell it to give me 3 short cases on arrhythmias, and then to start generating, all because it's all inside the configuration. So now, because you've configured it like that, 3 short cases on arrhythmias, just to test myself, let me see if I understand arrhythmias clinically. All right, it has started to generate. Based on the source material and your clinical reasoning guidelines for a final year MBCD student in Ghana, these are 3 high yield short cases on arrhythmias, whereby it's not just giving me the case, the likely diagnosis, the focus investigations, and everything that has to do with it. And remember, it was Ghanaian setting patients, and then its case study clinical style. Look at how this one is Konfanoti Teaching Hospital. And when you hover over the place, it will show you where that concept is coming from. You understand? And so this is how you can do the testing sandwich. When you use the flashcards in the quizzes, I talked about how it grades you in the previous video. You can look at your grade and record your grade in your tracker such that you can track your progress. Arrhythmias, I had 57%. When I did the quiz, I had 20 something percent. When I did RAINA, I had 50 something percent. When I did this, I had this. This helps you to track your studies so that it helps you to know where you should prioritize your time when you are revising. So when you are doing your space repetition, when you are revising, you see a very low score with respect to ACS. You know that I need to focus more on ACS more than cardiomyopathy, where I scored 90%. So tracking, I already showed tracking in my master topics tracker. Tom Watchman also has his own tracking videos. I just took the information that he had and adapted it to it. But effectively, you can even track right here in NotebookLM using the notes. So let's say arrhythmias. So arrhythmias, I'm going to track arrhythmias practically for you to see. So arrhythmias flashcards, I had 34%. And then when it comes to the quiz, I had 56%. And so when it came to acute coronary syndrome, when I did this topic, I probably did arrhythmias on 5th March 2026, and I did acute coronary syndrome on 6th March. So basically, that's how you can track it. Here, you are typing a lot. By my master topics tracker, it's just a few clicks and then you are done. So effectively, this is the testing sandwich. And this brings me to the end of this first batch of videos on NotebookLM and all the ways we can use it. The OSCIs and others will be coming soon. And I just pray and hope that as you watch these videos, at your own pace, having seen every single thing that NotebookLM can do, you can be able to apply these things in your studies. And when you add Anki with memorization of only the most important facts, you'll be unstoppable. And with the grace of God, nothing can stop you in your exams. So I thank you for watching all these videos. I thank you for sitting through it. I don't take it for granted. And I pray that they are able to help you in your studies. I continue to do research day in, day out. I was even able to see some, extensions that can help in NotebookLM. There's this extension that a friend recommended to me called DecoDR, which is a very good extension, but it's not really that stable. But then you can search for it in the Google Chrome extension. It's not really that stable. It has some really cool features. So I'm waiting for that extension to be stabilized before I showcase it to the world. But I just pray that all of these tips and tricks about NotebookLM will be able to help you elevate your studies to a much higher level. Thank you and God bless you.